Turning now to some news in the George Smith mystery, the man who disappeared from his honeymoon cruise ship over a month ago. Now a passenger from that ship is talking out about what he saw. Walter Zelisko joins us now. Mr. Zelisko is the police chief of the Oak Hill, Florida Police Department. Also with us is maritime attorney Charles Lipcon. Mr. Lipcon, we're going to start with you because we understand you have some information here that you have heard that the cruise line has fired some employees. Can you shed some light on this?
Sure. Good evening, first of all. I was speaking to the head of one of the Seamen's Union yesterday and today, and this is third hand, of course, but he was told by crew members that they were ordered not to talk or speak to anybody about what happened in the George Smith matter. And what the head of the union believes is that phone call was listened into by the company, and those people involved in the conversation were immediately terminated, and they're flying home right now to Nicaragua, where he's going to meet with them.
Chief, look, you were on this ship. You're Chief Oak Hill down there in Florida. You were on that ship, and you have a relative who saw the blood, and then they come in and they wipe it up, right? I mean, is that like sort of obstructing justice, or am I in the wrong place here? I mean, how can you go at a place where somebody's missing, you see all this blood, and you start cleaning it all up?
Well, yeah, I don't know if that was deliberate on their part to clean up the blood. I'm sure their purpose for cleaning up that blood at that point was to get it out of the view of all the passengers that were possibly on that side of the ship. But it certainly would be a misjustice if they did clean it up and did not allow investigators to properly secure the scene and gather the evidence that they needed. As far as the individuals we had mentioned that were terminated from their employment, a number of times we have asked our waiter or our the stateroom attendant, you know, as to what happened, do they have any information, and they all indicated that they were prohibited from speaking to anybody about what had occurred, that they do know that they have some information, but they cannot speak to anybody.
Chief,
and it doesn't sound... Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Finish.
I was going to say, it's not unusual that, you know, they would terminate somebody from employment because it would make it that much more difficult for investigators to conduct an effective investigation if this individual is not readily available to be interviewed, and he's back home in Nicaragua.
Yeah, you know, Charles, I've never been on a cruise ship. My in-laws have. In fact, my Uncle George was just on one last week. I've never been on one.
Well, you should try it.
What's that?
You should try it. They're great vacations until something goes wrong.
And then if something goes wrong, where do you go?
When something goes wrong, you're in a whole lot of trouble. I've been handling these cases for more than 30 years, and this fits a pattern. When something happens, you're no longer the company's friend. You become the company's enemy, and they turn on you viciously. Evidence disappears, witnesses disappear, crime scenes are not preserved. They let anybody and everybody go into the crime scene. They don't take proper photographs. It's just a mess. And the bottom line is, through a court order, I got some statistics that show one cruise line had 173 reported sexual assaults in a little over 3.5 years. And out of 173 sexual assaults, not one person was prosecuted. Not one prosecution.
Where'd you get this information, Charles? Is this something you're making up here, or I mean, did you get this from?
No.
Chief.
No, I have.
Where'd you get it, Charles? Go ahead and answer quickly.
Well, I got it through a court case by court order, and it was provided to me under oath from the cruise line. Well,
I don't know why you're telling me to go on one of these ships in light of that sort of stuff. That's pretty crazy. Well, Chief, is this investigation going anywhere? You know, it just seems like how hard it is to track people down all over the world. Tell me your sense on this thing.
Well, I believe that the FBI is going to do an effective job in bringing this to a conclusion. What makes this difficult is that the crime scene is a mobile crime scene. It is back out cruising at this point. And you can't just readily come back to the crime scene and begin another investigation. And once again, you have witnesses that are scattered throughout the world. You have tourists that are from France, from Germany possibly, from California, from New York. They're all over. So it's going to take a lot of time and a great deal of effort on law enforcement's part to get this case to a successful conclusion.
I bet you both agree if it wasn't for the media, this thing would have been, just would have been ignored. But guys, we got to leave it there. Thank you for that information, the both of you.
Thank you.
At the time, it was the worst school shooting on record.